This is the Mo Patton Sports Videocast with Maurice, Patton, and Terrence Smithson. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish.
Want to play ball at the next level? You got what it takes? Then you got to provide a professional highlight video to coaches. Recruit Reels is the nation's leading sports highlight video production company, and they're here in Tennessee. Starting at just $3.99, Recruit Reels helps student athletes realize their dream and families afford college. Watch highlight videos and review video packages at recruitreels.com. Call them at 615-896-6076.
Want to welcome everyone to the Mo Patton Sports Videocast. I'm Maurice Patton along with Terrence Smithson. We are alongside I-65 South over here at Centennial, where the Cougars are getting ready for to get on 65 Friday night for a big road trip up to Paris to take on the Henry County Patriots in a huge Region 7 5A game. We're going to visit that game here in a bit. First, we want to start off a little closer to home as we get into the final week of the regular season. A lot of folks going to be packing it up after Friday night, Terrence.
That's right.
And
all of them, some of them going to be in mothballs.
Yep, absolutely. Got a few teams, though, again, over here in Region 6 5A that won't necessarily be packing it up. In fact, Cane Ridge, undefeated Region 6 5A champion, regardless of what happens Friday night. They take on a Gallatin team that is almost in the playoffs and doesn't even necessarily have to win Friday night to get in. We're going to get into that scenario here in a little bit because it's pretty convoluted. But Cane Ridge goes up to the Wave Yard to take on a Green Wave team that would really like to solidify their postseason chances with a victory and ruin the Ravens' undefeated march.
Oh yeah, you love this. Gallatin would love to see that undefeated season come to an end, and they got the people to do it.
Yeah, obviously Jordan Mason a little bottled up last week in that 21-17 loss over at Hillsboro. He'll be looking to bounce back. Gallatin will be looking to get him bounced back. But this is a kid who's already rushed for 2,030 yards and 23 touchdowns in 9 games. So holding him down back-to-back weeks isn't necessarily a given.
No, it's not. But he got some big guys up there blocking for him, and I understand how he's got almost 2,000 yards rushing. He's got 2 tackles on that offensive line, bookends at 6'2", 300 pounds on each end, and that'll open up some holes for you.
Especially at the high school level. That's pretty good size.
Level, yeah.
Again, Mason's had a great year, and he will be public enemy number 1 for that Cane Ridge defense. Meanwhile, the Ravens, ranked number 2 in Class 5A in this week's Associated Press poll, ranked number 5 in Mosey Elite 11. Be sure and check that out at mopattonsports.com. Come in again at 9-0 overall. They're 6-0 in region play. That 9 wins is the most in that program's history. So Eddie Woods in his second season over there has really done a great job kind of getting things established over there.
He really has. Had a 8-win season last year and backing it up with a 9 so far and maybe more down the road. He's really got that program on the right track, and he's really changed the culture of that program.
Starts with the quarterback, DJ Thorpe. We talked about him early in the year. This is a kid who I think is under-recruited. Talked to Coach Woods earlier this week. He said that Western Carolina is showing some interest in him, which is an FCS program. Trying to get Austin Peay to come down and take a look at him, but I think this kid can play.
I think he can play too, and it's really amazing how you said he's trying to get people to come down and look at him. I don't know what they're looking for. Guy's mobile, got a rocket arm, and can read a defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, he's got the football intelligence and he's got the classroom intelligence as well. He's got some Ivy League looks as well. So, you know, if you're out there looking for a quarterback, if you're a college coach, you might want to get over on I-24 and Old Hickory Boulevard. Check this kid out. Got some nice pieces to go with him as well. The running back tandem of Jordan Bell and Amari Barton, they've been getting it done on the ground for the Ravens. This is going to be an interesting matchup.
It will be, and I'm wondering if they can keep the center, Peter Brown, on the field. A lot of times he has to come out of the game, and it seems like the next play is not a good one or a positive one for the Cane Ridge offense. If they can keep Mr. Brown on the field, they've got a chance to put up a lot of points.
And putting up points and keeping Jordan Mason off the field again will be the objective for Cane Ridge, you would think. Mason held to 131 yards, scored twice in that 21-17 loss to Hillsborough last week. But again, for Gallatin, win and they're in, lose and they still got a shot, because also over there in Region 6-5A, you got Beach going to Hillsborough, and this Hillsborough team kind of fought off the mat last week with that 21-17 win over Gallatin. They've been in playoff mode for a week now, and they really need a win here against the Beach team that is in regardless of what happens as well.
Well, they're in survival mode, because they wouldn't have been able to make the postseason unless they won those games, and this one Friday night is a big one, because they have to win to get in.
Absolutely. Beach won last week 41-0 against Hunters Lane. They've won 4 straight now, and they've done it the way they've been doing it all year, behind that running attack of Chaz Williamson, Alex Van Zant, and Chris Peach. So those are going to be the guys that Hillsborough defense has to look out for. And again, they did a great job slowing Jordan Mason down last week. You got to feel pretty good about their chances to slow Beach down this time around.
Well, not so fast as Lee Corso.
Okay.
It's easier to stop one guy than it is to stop a 3-headed monster, because you don't know which one of those guys is going to get the ball. And all 3 of them are very effective, capable ball carriers, as they've shown all throughout the season. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have a big night.
At the same time, that Hillsborough defense came up with a big touchdown in that game last week. John Beats with a 50-yard pick six. Obviously, Ben Hutch kind of running things up front for the Burros. They're going to put a lot on that defense trying to get Beach stopped, and hopefully Tywan Goodner, the quarterback, can come up with enough big plays. He ran for a touchdown, threw for one in that Gallatin win last week, and he's kind of the X factor with them, because if he's clicking, they can do some things with Javante Patton out on the perimeter, and they can also get some stuff out of Barrion Claybrooks, the sophomore running back, and they're going to have to be clicking on all cylinders against this Beach team that comes in 7-2 overall, 5-1 in region play. Hillsborough 5-4 overall, 4-2 in the region. So again, big matchup. Hillsborough desperately needs a win to keep their postseason chances alive.
Yeah, Mr. Goodner is going to have to get by Heath Crabtree, that middle linebacker for Beach, makes a lot of plays. And if he's on Friday night, it could be a long night for Mr. Goodner.
Again, Region 6-5A. We've talked a lot about them this year. We've said that you've got a lot of good teams over there, and somebody's not going to make the playoffs. Well, we're to that point where somebody good is not going to make the playoffs. Hendersonville plays at Hunters Lane. Again, we've talked about Beach going to Hillsborough, and we've talked about Cane Ridge going to Gallatin. All 3 of those games are going to have some major implications here. If Hendersonville, Beach, and Gallatin all win, then Beach is 2, Gallatin's 3, and Hendersonville is 4. Cane Ridge is already solidified as the region champ. They're the #1 seed. If Hendersonville wins, Beach wins, and Gallatin loses, and I'm having to actually read this because I've not been able to commit this one to memory, y'all, sorry. But if Hendersonville wins, Beach wins, Gallatin loses to Cane Ridge, then you got Beach going as the #2, Hendersonville is the #3, Hillsborough is the #4 seed. If Hendersonville wins, Beach loses, and Gallatin loses, Hillsborough jumps up to #2. Beach is the #3, Gallatin's 4. If Hendersonville wins, Beach loses, and Gallatin wins, then again, Hillsborough is the #2, Beach is the 3, and Gallatin is the 4. So there's a scenario where Hendersonville could win, finish up 7-3, and be on the outside looking in, despite Gallatin having a worse overall record. So Hendersonville has to win and get some help. Gallatin doesn't necessarily have to win. And Beach is in, it's just a matter of where they're going to fall in terms of seeds, depending on what happens with these other ball games. So it comes back to, you never know what the game is going to be that puts you in or leaves you out of the playoffs. So you got to go out and play them all.
The region games are big. It's not when you win, it's who you beat.
Yeah. It's so we'll try to get this up on the website maybe so you can keep up, because I'm not sure that I can. But
yeah, it's a convoluted scenario.
It absolutely is. Hey, those are a couple of huge games. Well, 3 with that Hendersonville Hunters Lane game, but those are a couple of particularly huge games over there in Region 6-5A. We got some more we're going to talk to you about when we get back. Stay with us.
John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors Mo Patton Sports Videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building.
Express Employment Professionals North Nashville in downtown, owned by respected business leaders Christy and Jason Patrick, is the premier employment agency in the community. Express is one of the community's largest employers, consistently working over 500 people at over 125 private businesses each week in Davidson County. Whether you are a company looking for the next great employee or a candidate looking for the next great job, Express is the employment resource for you. Call them at 615-313-3690 or visit their website at www.expresspros.com/InNashvilleTN. Like them on Facebook at Express Employment Professionals, Nashville North and downtown.
Terrence, over in the western part of Williamson County, you got Harpeth going to Fairview in a game that will virtually decide the Region 6 3A championship. Fairview goes in there 9-0 overall, 5-0 in region play. Harpeth coming in at 8-1 overall, 4-1 in region play. Their only loss was to Camden back in week 4. They beat Cheatham County, their big county rival, 42-20 last week for their 5th straight win. So the Indians coming in with a little bit to prove. Again, Fairview finally broke into the Associated Press Class 3A top 10 this week. They came in at number 9, and I'm not sure if Chris Hughes is happy about that or not, to be honest. I think he'd kind of prefer to be under the radar there a little bit. But Fairview with a big 28-14 win over at Camden this past weekend to set this game up. The Yellow Jackets got a chance to be undefeated at 10-0 for the first time since 1979. So a little history to be made Friday night over in Fairview.
Yeah, and I'm sure Mr. Coach Hughes is not happy about being number 9. He'd rather be up around number 1. So he's going to be trying to make a statement Friday night against Harpeth, a team which is on the rise and on the move right now. They're on an upswing, and they're going to come into the hornet's nest. And I think the Jackets are going to be ready.
I think you're right. Harpeth doing it with seniors. They had a couple of guys, Drake Fulham and Luke Gossett, who combined for 224 rushing yards in that Cheatham County win. But neither of them scored, because apparently when they get down close, they like to go to their big guy, 6'1", 195-pound Connor Barber. 12 carries, 82 yards, 4 touchdowns from 117 yards. So he gets the cheapies. Fulham and Gossett get to do all the work between the 20s, and then when they get it down close, they go to Mr. Barber. But it obviously seems to be working for the Indians again. 8-1 overall, 4-1 in region play.
Well, Mr. Barber is instrumental for them on defense as well. He's one of their leading tacklers. He plays middle linebacker along with Drew Eads, and they're going to be trying to shut the Jackets down.
Yeah, and the Yellow Jackets with a nice running attack as well, with Hunter Caldwell and Jake Beathard. Those two combined for 178 yards and 3 touchdowns in that Camden win last week. So again, Fairview trying to stay undefeated, finish up undefeated. It'll be the first time in 30-something years that they can pull it off. And again, I know Chris Hughes has been using this whole thing as motivation, the fact that nobody respects us, blah, blah, blah. It'll be interesting to see how that turns this week. So hopefully that ranking doesn't jinx the Yellow Jackets over there this week.
Well, like I said, 9 is a long way from 1.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely.
He just broke into the top 10.
And
they
they
coach,
still,
you want to be number 1
and
when it's all said
and they've
done.
still got some work to do and a chance to get there. So you know, defensively, Fairview's allowing 18 points, so that's going to be a big key for them as well. Kind of trying to hold Harpeth down in this one with, again, those running backs, those senior guys over there, Fulham, Gossett, and Barber. But big game out in Fairview Friday night. Over in Region 5 1A, Trousdale County, 8-1 overall, 6-1 in region play, goes to the defending 1A state champions, Nashville Christian School. The Eagles 7-2, 7-0 in region play. Big matchup.
It is a big matchup, and Mr. Isaiah Harper is going to have his work cut out for him trying to get by Brent Lawless and Jesse Watson over there on that Nashville Christian School defense. Because Mr. Lawless checking in at 6'3", 285. He's a load up front.
He's a load up front, but he can move as well. I mean, just because that's where he starts, that doesn't mean that's where he's going to finish either.
That's right. He's at that nose guard position, and he also plays tight end on offense and running back. So I watched him score a touchdown the other week against Gordonsville. So, hey, he gets the ball in many different ways.
Trousdale coming in off a 42-0 win over Red Boiling Springs. And that was a big win for them from the standpoint that they had gone through a lot of turmoil a week ago, coming off that game against Middle Tennessee Christian when their coach David Barker was removed immediately after the game for some off-field issues. Ben Johnson, a defensive assistant, stepped in there as interim coach, and it seems they didn't miss a beat. So big win for them. They've got some momentum. Again, they've run off 4 straight wins since losing 9-0 at Gordonsville a few weeks ago. And this Yellow Jacket team, this is the program that's won some state championships, got a lot of tradition. They're coming in here to Nashville Christian, and don't expect them to back down.
Oh, no. They have a winning tradition, and those people that are used to winning, they like to win, and they're going to make you beat them. They're not going to lose. So I expect a hard-fought ball game on both sides.
Nashville Christian ranked number 7 in the AP poll, Trousdale at number 8. The Eagles coming off a 23-17 win over Middle Tennessee Christian. We had talked about MTCS earlier in the year and their backloaded schedule. They kind of ran into some buzzsaws coming down the stretch, Nashville Christian being one of them.
Yes, Nashville Christian with that Brent Lawless and Jesse Watson, and then Trousdale County other week with Xavion Say up front and Quinn Mason. Those guys are big, and it's kind of hard for them to compete on that level with them.
Yeah. Nashville Christian's now won 3 straight since they lost to Pope John Paul II, a 17-14 loss. Their 2 losses have been by a total of 4 points. They lost 22-21 to White House Heritage earlier in the year. So again, the defending 1A state champions, they lost a lot off that team from last year, but they seem to have kind of regrouped, got things moving in the right direction as they head into the playoffs.
Yes, Nashville Christian, Coach Brothers, he kind of reloads over there. He don't rebuild, he just reloads. And they're used to winning, and they have to, get their feet up on them sometimes, but once they do, they get them rolling real fast.
Absolutely. Terrence, your alma mater, the Page Patriots, got a huge ball game Friday night in Region 4-4A. They've got Marshall County coming to town. The Tigers come in at 8-1. Page is 6-2 overall. They're both 4-0 in the region, so obviously this one's for the championship, the title, the rings, the bling, whatever you want to call it.
In my opinion, this is the top game in the mid-state this weekend. You just said it. They're both undefeated, and whoever wins gets the region championship. So that's the most important game in town.
Doesn't get any clearer than that, does
right.
it? So, Marshall County coming off a 39-16 win over Maplewood last week. That was their 3rd straight win since they suffered their only loss. They lost 28-21 to Stratford a few weeks back. They're ranked number 5 in the Associated Press 4A poll, number 11 in Mosey, lead 11. Page coming off a 38-20 win over White House. They were up 38-0 in that ball game, and our freshman running back, Bubba Johnson, 11 carries, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns early for the Patriots in that one. Jacob Van Landingham threw for 101 yards and a pair of touchdowns as well. So they've got some confidence going as they come into this ball game, and it's much needed because Same scenario last year. Both these teams came in undefeated in region play down at Lewisburg. Marshall County wins a 42-24 decision there.
Well, Marshall County brings great size on both sides of the football, on offense and defense, and that's hard for most teams in the region to compete with. And Page is going to have to really have a great game from the interior offensive line when Chris Dahl in there at center, big senior in there, and Tony Chase at guard, and Jonathan Harris at another guard position. They're really going to have to play well to keep Jason Wilcox, a big 6 foot, 315-pound tackle, in check and open some holes for Bubba Johnson.
Bubba doesn't need much of a hole now, but every little bit helps. And Page is going to have to put some points up because Marshall County will. They've got a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, starting with the sophomore quarterback, Bryce Wallace, both those receivers, Trey Crutcher and Jay Howard, and the running back, Cameron Liggett. So, and they will slip Kane McWilliams back there. He's a linebacker who's committed to MTSU, but he can do some damage on the offensive side of the ball as well.
That's right. Cruz Kerrigan, who scored a big touchdown on the kick 6 against Giles County, is going to have to play big back there at safety. And Hunter Smith out there at defensive end is going to have to put pressure on Bryce Wallace to keep him from picking them apart.
He can do it too.
He can.
Absolutely.
Behind that big offensive line of Dave Adams and Blair Conger, those guys checking in at 285 and 310 respectively, man. It's going to be tough.
Should be a shootout out there. We'll see how it goes. When we get back, we're going to take a look at this Centennial-Henry County matchup. Stay tuned.
Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish. At National Playmakers Academy, developing NPA athletes comes in threes. NPA develops its student athletes' academic, social, and football-specific skills. Next, NPA develops them for better exposure today, recruitment tomorrow, and college education through scholarships for the rest of their lives. We are proud of the outstanding athletes we have developed. We are more proud of the college graduates we have prepared. Work with National Playmakers Academy for developing gifted athletes into productive citizens.
Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers combine the best of bowling, games, food, drink, and fun. For all Middle Tennessee residents, Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers are the ideal destination for family entertainment. The safe, friendly environment is perfect for birthday parties for kids of all ages or business outings for adults who work too hard. Our friendly staff and fun atmosphere will help create those enjoyable memories with your coworkers, friends, and loved ones. Don't forget to sign your kids up for our Kids Bowl Free summer program. Visit us online at strikeandsparebowling.com or come see us in person at any of our nearby Strike and Spare locations in Donaldson, Hendersonville, Hermitage, Murfreesboro, and the Tusculum area for more details. We'll see you soon.
All right, so Terrence, Henry County came to town last weekend, went over to Brentwood, dropped a 38-13 loss over there. Really kind of gave Centennial a little breathing room here. But at the same time, the Cougars still have to go to Paris and take care of business to win the Region 7 5A championship outright. Centennial coming off of a 28-24 win against Rossview last week. So what are your thoughts on this?
I think Coach Kreisky is going to want to have his team going into the postseason on an upswing. And the only way to do that is to win this ball game. And it's always tough to go into your opponent's territory and win. And Henry County has got a team that's 42 on their roster, and they only got 4 seniors on there. And got a big sophomore class. So I guess that's kind of why they had the little hiccup last week in Brentwood after they've been scoring so many points. You don't know what you're going to get from sophomores a lot of times. And we'll see what they get this week.
And I'll tell you what, you know, you would think that Henry County would really be refocused after that loss. You'd think, you know, with James Counts Jr. and that coaching staff, they'll have a chance to get their team's attention coming off of a 25-point loss like that.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Counts really re-emphasized his disappointment in their performance Friday night. So I expect to see a different team.
Snapped a 4-game win streak for the Patriots with that loss. The quarterback, Savon Stewart, rushed for 124 yards and a touchdown. But their running back combination, Lucas Reynolds and Caleb McCutcheon, combined for just 109 yards and a touchdown. And knowing what you know about the Patriots, that's kind of what they want to do. They want to run the ball. They finished up with 277 rushing yards, but didn't get them quite the way they would have liked to, I don't think, because they would have liked to have established at least one of those running backs, if not both, and they have done that quite often.
That's right. And for Centennial, Eli Katina is going to be instrumental in stopping them from establishing that running attack Friday night. He and Mr. Carter at linebacker, he makes a lot of plays, and if he's on point and plays like he normally does, it's going to be hard for them to move the football.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Mr. Katina, because he's going to be pretty instrumental as Centennial tries to move the ball as well, with that three-headed running back tandem of Zion Lee, Matthew Thurston, and Jeriel Wilson. Each of those guys scored a touchdown in that Rossview win, and they finished up with a combined 197 rushing yards. So Coach Kreisky wants to run the ball as well.
Oh yeah. And Nolan Daniel and Nick Bell and those guys up front, hey, they got the people to get it done. We'll see what happens.
Centennial comes in at 8-1, 6-0 in region play. Henry County's 5-3 overall, 5-1 in the region. Centennial's ranked number 3 in the state in Class 5A. Won 7 straight since losing to Independence here at Centennial in week 2. So they have really regathered. Finished up 12-2 last year, lost in the state semifinals, lost a huge player in Tyrell Dodson, who is getting more and more playing time out at Texas A&M. So they've bounced back from losing that guy, and it's kind of been a strength in numbers kind of thing, but they've really done well, and like you said, want to carry that forward another week, finish up strong, take some momentum into the playoffs with a big win on the road here.
It's amazing what a new set of eyes will do for players. You had Tyrell Dodson, who was the focal point of the team last year, and as you said, he's in the rotation down there for Texas A&M, and Mr. Kreisky comes in, and he's playing guys that you didn't hear much from last year, but they're getting it done on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. Centennial won both these games last year. They won 28-20 here at home in week 11, and then they turned around and beat Henry County here again in the quarterfinals, 25-0. Don't think Coach Counts and that coaching staff isn't reminding those guys of that.
Oh yeah, when you get done like that, that's one of the first things you talk about in the team meeting or position group meetings. It's reemphasized again. So no, they won't forget.
Yeah, they'll be tired of hearing about Centennial by Friday night, I believe. Right. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. A couple of other matchups worth mentioning. Over in Region 2 6A, Smyrna goes to Oakland. Smyrna 6-3 overall, 4-2 in region play. Oakland undefeated at 9-0 overall, 6-0 in the region. They've pretty well nailed down that region championship. This game kind of lost a little bit of its luster when Smyrna fell to Riverdale last week, 23-20 at home.
Unexpected. Riverdale, Coach Kreisky, hey, he pulled a rabbit out of his hat on that one and went into Smyrna's home field and come out with a win, and that doesn't happen often.
It really doesn't, and so it's going to be interesting to see how Smyrna bounces back from this one against an Oakland team who, again, wants to close this thing out 10-0. So, and they've certainly got the talent to do it. Scored 2 defensive touchdowns last week in their 56-7 win against Cookeville. So even if you think you've got them slowed down a little bit on offense, they've got some guys over there on the other side of the ball that can take it from you and go the other way.
Yeah, they either take it from you on defense and score, or they'll catch a punt and a kickoff return on special teams, and they can kill you in any phase of the game.
And fun team to watch, obviously. Another game worth keeping an eye on, MBA and Ensworth. The Big Red goes over to Ensworth. They go in 8-1 overall, 5-0 in Division 2 AA region play. Ensworth 6-3 overall, 3-2 in the region. MBA's only loss was in their season opener. They fell to Hewitt-Trussville out of Alabama, 33-24, run off 8 straight since then. Ensworth comes in, they defeated Father Ryan last week, 23-7, without Nikki Clifton, who is expected to play this week, but they missed him for the first 3 games of the season with a wrist injury, and he really makes a difference for them.
He does. And he gets in behind that offensive line of Derek Rios, 6'4", 280 pounds. Hey, he can get some yards real fast. And Coach Bowers does a great job of getting that ball into his playmaker's hands. He doesn't have what he normally has as far as elite players like Corn Elder and that bunch, but he's got some very good high school football players over there.
And one of them showed up Friday night against Ryan. Tim Covington, 20 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. Also caught a touchdown pass. Jalen King threw for a pair. So, again, Ensworth kind of sputtered a little bit early, but I've got a feeling they're going to have an impact on this postseason once we get it started here next week.
I think you're right. Coach Bowers has won a lot of football games, and they may start having that impact Friday night. Unless the Big Red shows some diversity and gets that ball out of Ty Chandler's hands, he may have a surprise for him.
Ty had 141 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns in a 31-10 win over Baylor last week. So, NBA kind of feels like that's where their bread is buttered, but you're right. It would be nice to kind of see them do something different with it. I mean, he's awfully good. He's a UT commit, obviously, but and Coach you've already said that offensive line does love to block for him, but you got to feel like at some point somebody's going to force them to do something other than turn and hand it off.
You're right. They're going to run up against somebody with some personnel that can get it done and bring an extra defender in the box and zone it up behind them. And it's going to be hard for him to move that football because if you get a great back, you got to get him in the backfield before he gets started. And if you know a guy's getting the ball 40 times, hey, not much else to worry about.
LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish.
Want to play ball at the next level? You got what it takes? Then you got to provide a professional highlight video to coaches. Recruit Reels is the nation's leading sports highlight video production company, and they're here in Tennessee. Starting at just $3.99, Recruit Reels helps student athletes realize their dream, and families afford college. Watch highlight videos and review video packages at recruitreels.com. Call them at 615-896-6076.
Terrence, Mostradamus looked like Mostradamus last week, and you didn't do much better. We each went 1-5 on our pick sixes, and would have been a perfect time to hashtag beat Mostradamus at Twitter and try to get in the mix for a Taziki's Mediterranean gift card. Might want to take another shot this week. Again, hashtag beat Mostradamus on Twitter. Shoot us your pick six picks. We're going to go through ours here in just a second. If you get more of them right than we do, you go into a drawing for a Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe gift card. Last week, Terrence, Franklin at Mount Juliet. We both had Franklin. It took overtime, but Mount Juliet got us 42-35. CPA at Good Pasture. I had Good Pasture. You didn't. Good Pasture won at 31-28, and I'm hanging on to that one because that's the only one I got right. Gallatin went to Hillsboro, and Hillsboro took care of business at home, 21-17. You had the Burros in that one. I went with Jordan Mason and the Green Wave. Henry County came to Brentwood. We already talked about that one. Brentwood with the 38-13 win. We both had the Patriots. Summit went over to Stewart's Creek. We didn't know that David Martin had Ryan Haraway sitting back there in his back pocket. He did, and the Red Hawks pulled that one out 38-13. We both had the Spartans. And we talked about Riverdale going to Smyrna and down in the Bulldogs 23-20 when we both had the home team in that one. So again, we both went 1-5. We're looking to bounce back. Cane Ridge at Gallatin, who do you like?
Cane Ridge. I'm going with the Ravens. I think they got too many playmakers.
And I think defensively they'll probably take a good look at what Hillsborough did against the Green Wave last week. Their personnel kind of matches up a lot similarly. I like the Ravens in this one. Beach at Hillsborough.
Beach. That three-headed monster is going to be a little bit too much for Mr. Hutch to stop this week.
I like the Burrows. I like their fight. I like that desperate edge that they've got right now. And the fact that Beach is already in, regardless of what happens, I like Hillsborough in this one. Harp at Fairview.
Going with Fairview, I think they're going to want to take care of business at home, and they got a point to prove over there at Fairview.
I think you're right. I'm going with the Yellow Jackets as well. Speaking of Yellow Jackets, Trousdale County and Nashville Christian.
I got to go with the Nashville Christian in this one. Brent Lawless and Jesse Watson and Xavier Myers, and whew,
yeah,
they just keep coming.
I like the defending 1A state champions in this one, especially at home. I'm going with the Eagles. Marshall County at Page, your alma mater.
Boy, they made me look bad when I picked against them. On paper, you don't see how they can beat Marshall County, and they got them at home. The wise choice would be to pick Marshall County. And I think that's what I'm going with.
Okay. I like the build-up. I was wondering. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Tigers. I just think they've got too much firepower for Page in this one. And Centennial making that long drive to Paris to take on an angry Henry County Ball Club. Who do you like?
Centennial. I think they have the senior leadership to get it done.
I like the Cougars in this one as well on the road. Coach Kreisky going back to his hometown. I think these Cougars will want to have their coaches back. So I like the Cougars in that one as well. That's who we got. Hashtag #BeatMostradamus on Twitter. Send us your picks for those 6 games. Again, you get more of them right than I do, and judging from last week, you got a pretty good shot. We'll throw you into a drawing for a gift card to Tzatziki's Mediterranean Cafe. 8 locations in Middle Tennessee. One of them's got to be near you. Be sure and check out the website, mopattonsports.com. Check out Mo's 4 Down territory and see who's got a chance to run the table here in the regular season and finish up 10-0, or in one case, 9-0. Check out Mo's Elite 11 and see where your favorite Middle Tennessee team ranks this week as we go into the final weekend of the regular season. Again, check out Mostradamus' Pick 6 later this week. And not only will we have those top 6 games, but Mostradamus will be picking the winner of every Middle Tennessee high school football game. So check that out. And be sure and catch the Strike and Spare Coaches Show podcast later on this week, where we'll be catching up with a couple of coaches that'll be involved in some of the key Week 11 matchups. That's going to do it for the Mo Patton Sports Videocast. That's Terrence Smithson. I'm Maurice Patton. We'll see you at the ball game.